Welcome to this episode of Covenant Marriages. Usually, you would see us seated here and our guests with us on stage.
This time and this episode on Covenant Marriages, we will be meeting with our guests virtually.
With the aid of technology.
Yes.
We'll be speaking with the Abajues, who have been married for 21 years.
And they will be talking to us and sharing their experience on he's here, she's there, handling marriage despite distance.
So please don't go anywhere. You are there, we are here.
Literally.
We are going to have a good time. We'll be right back after this message.
Welcome back. We are with the Abajues, and today we are going to be talking about relocating and all of the things that have to do with relocation. I know that there's a spirit and there's an era in Nigeria, if you're a part of Nigeria, and if you're a Nigerian, Jakparism is a familiar word. And so we want to get to see and learn from the Abajues. You're welcome, sir and ma, to Covenant Marriages.
Yes, sir and ma, you're welcome. Thank you for making time to be with us despite the schedule over there and maybe the weather that we do not experience. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Quick one. So what informed the she's there, I'm here, or the relocation of the family? Let's start with that. Is it the... Let's just start. Let me not say something else.
Is it the what?
I know. If I say it, you're already there. If I say it, it's me to be affecting you, so I'm not saying it.
Well, but actually, to be completely honest, it's just numbers, all right? In the sense that we started off paying school fees overseas, all right? And it was really expensive. And then we found that we could do this so that the cost will come down, all right? And our original plan was just to do it and then let the costs come down and then we're done. But we found ultimately that we actually needed to be present in person to be able to get the full advantage. It really led us to do this.
So has there been challenges? I know that your job, sir, takes you back and forth between your home base now and Nigeria. So I will ask you, ma, has there been challenges that you have faced since you made this decision of relocating?
Yes, definitely. I remember when we first got the papers and he said, you have to go. And as in when we made the decision, I was like, it's you that will go. I'm like, leave my business? How? Like, I couldn't even imagine it, because I had a thriving business.
Not leave me. You have
I'll leave you. Well, for me, that was what first came to mind, that everything I knew was in Nigeria. I thought about church. I was like, how can I not be going to church on Sundays? How can I not be? Well, like he said, it didn't occur to me then that being apart, because we'd never really been apart, was such a big issue. I was thinking more of the other aspects of life. I was going to actually physically take myself somewhere else, And have there been challenges since then? Yes, a lot. Of course, the usual challenges. You're here alone. You have to wash your car. You have to shovel the snow. You're alone with the boys. The hassles of raising 3 boys, And so it was. Those are the challenges I found. Really, it was more of like having to be the only one to carry the responsibilities that both of us previously used to carry. Yes, and of course, here there are no house helps, no drivers, so that makes it even worse. That makes it more pronounced, so to speak.
So, Pastor, you've been doing the dishes, sweeping, and doing all the house chores.
Back
well,
Nigeria.
Sometimes, but not often. You have some big boys now, so just have some
so yes,
we are fortunate to have teenage grown-up children that we assign chores to. But I remember when he first came and was sweeping them up. I took a video, like, oh my God. Oh my God. You know, I took a video, like, come on, see you.
Oh my.
You know, so yeah.
So let's backtrack a little. How first, what was the initial plan? Who went first? And then how long apart are you usually, for some context, so that our viewers can follow the story?
So, I mean, she went first. She's the one that actually is here.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I come and go and come and go. All I try to do is to spend as much time as possible when I come. Right. But what we found was, I think in 2019, that was the first time she spent most of the year here. But then I was traveling a lot that year in particular anyway. All right. So it wasn't even as if I was in Nigeria. So it was like I was really like all over the place. And she would come, or I would come here, and by the time I'm in Nigeria, then she might be coming to Nigeria. And then, so in fact, effectively, we didn't spend that much time apart. All right. So if you go back and add it back, it wouldn't really be more than, I don't think it's more than 3 months.
At a time
That we were actually ever really apart. So either I was here or she had come over. And sometimes it would just be like 6 weeks. And then I think it was 2019 that we were doing the surprise one.
Oh, yes. He won't tell me, he will just show up.
Mm.
Wow.
Oh, that's the surprise one. You just show
Yes.
up.
He will just show up.
Your laughter shows that you enjoyed the surprises.
So are men more romantic in the diaspora? Are women more romantic in the diaspora? Considering, wait now, let me land. Considering, you're in a different space, considering that, the Lagos traffic, if you're in Lagos, does not affect date nights and all. Do you spend more time together considering
I can't answer that for you. Romance is sweet. Don't mind me. Please go.
So let's hear.
Well, but at least from my perspective, all right, I think we spend a lot more time together here than we did or we do when we're in Nigeria.
Okay.
So I mean, here you're literally in each other's space and face and all that. And I think most of the day, every day, really, all right, we're together, we're going to this place together, even if it's just I'm doing something on my phone and you are doing something else, but I'll sit in the car. All right, let's go.
Or we go shopping together, even grocery shopping. But to answer your question in terms of romance, she's asking specifically about romance.
What about romance?
So we live near a water body, and we take walks on the waterfront.
Oh, wow.
And sometimes we just hold hands and we are exclaiming over the sunset.
Are you serious?
Ma, you make all of us come here.
No, we do. We take pictures of the sun. Hello, that's romance. We take pictures of the sunset. Don't you do that?
Yeah, that was romance.
Yes, now when you admire the sun setting, you're in front of the water, and you're just taking long walks.
So I had the activity. I didn't have the name.
Yes. And you know what? The environment, yes, it does foster that, because you see a lot of men with their wives taking walks. They spend a lot of time together, honestly.
Yeah.
So yes, it does foster the relationship and makes it stronger, because you spend time together, you do things together, you do life together, honestly. So it helps. But in Lagos, oh my God, the stress. By the time he comes back home, he's tired, he's been in traffic, I've been in my business, so I'd say it's better here, honestly.
It's easier to, the way I'll put it is that if you have a relationship, all right, this will magnify it.
Yes.
Okay.
If you don't have a relationship,
it will magnify it.
It will magnify that too.
Okay.
Right? So you, I mean, I've heard of a lot of people that end up having issues, but when you think about it, if you were used to everybody living their life as separate people, all right, then how do you enter into an environment where you have to work together to get the best outcomes? Right?
Okay.
So that's what this environment is. You have to work together to get the best outcome for yourselves. So if you didn't have that underlying relationship, all right, then that difference is magnified. It's like, okay, well, it's not a finance program, but it's like debt in an arrangement. Debt magnifies returns and then magnifies losses as well. All right, that average, that's what it does to your books. So it's the same kind of thing. So this place, because you just yourselves. All right. So you can imagine that it's when it's snowing heavily. So I try to make sure I'm always around as much as possible during the winter.
Yeah.
All right.
Interesting.
Because you wake up in the morning, you might be snowed in. All right. You have to shovel it out. You got to clear the car. You got to do all that. So if you're not here, she'll do it by herself now. They must move. They must leave.
Yeah.
All right. So if you're here, you do that and clear that at least. So some of those things are things that you can contribute because you have a physical advantage in that process. So you contribute that and you're conscious, so she knows.
Okay, thank you for that. But so let's discuss when you are apart. When you are apart, what is it like? And then what are the realities really? Because you also just mentioned now about that there are issues if you don't have a relationship. So first, this is like a twofold question. Let's discuss when you are apart, what are the realities? And now that you are apart, how do you mitigate the quote and unquote the cons to make it work to your advantage? I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, the first con would be that you're not together, of course, and so you're not talking as often, so to speak, as you would be if you're together. But I would say technology has really helped. So we're always on WhatsApp or FaceTime, like continuously. It's not a matter of, it's time to call and you do a call for 15 minutes. No, we literally leave it on. Wow. And as I'm cooking and doing things, it's on. So it's almost like you are still in each other's space. Whether he's writing or reading, or it's just on. So you can hear him in the background, he can hear me in the background. So that helps us kind of like spend like 6 hours together in a day. Those times when he's at home, the phone is on, literally, and you're just going about the daily activities with the other person listening in and, still being in your space.
I think that one of the ways it's worked for us is, if we're both in Lagos, for example, I would go for a meeting and then I would come back. But the only time we get to talk is when I'm around at home, right? Okay, but here, all right, because we're apart, that time I'm at home, all right, she wouldn't know I'm at home, right? So if I'm not at, so what we just do, once you're in the house, you're calling the other person, it's easier to then just keep the phone open. We can hear each other constantly. You can be doing something else.
Yeah.
But we're constantly on that line and it's open. Of course, it makes it easy. It makes it more difficult for anybody else to reach you at that point in time. Sure. If you have only one phone, like me. All right. So I tell people, don't call me. Just send me a message.
Wow.
Because my line is always open with her.
So that way, it's almost like you are not just sharing the major details, but you're sharing the little things, the boring details, so to speak, with each other. He knows everything that is going on, and you know everything that is going on with him. I will even know if the house help did not arrange the fish well, or his plate. This girl didn't bring the dodo, little things like that. You'd be surprised that I will laugh over it. I'm like, can you imagine? How can you not put dodo in your food? It's almost like I'm there. So those little things.
Long and short, you have CCTVs over each other.
You have what?
CCTVs.
Exactly.
But the fundamental thing I tell people is you have to be committed to the relationship. Right? Because if you're not, then some of those things will become bothersome to you. Right? Because we can be talking and I've slept. All right. So I wake up in the morning and I realize the phone is still on because she has now slept.
Yeah.
All right.
So the phone can be on for like sometimes 10 hours.
So
Man, thank God.
Sleeping Beauty or one another.
But thank God for good internet connectivity and power.
So to the issues and how you mitigate these issues. in your own case, the likely issues that can arise. I mean, let's assume there's a couple that wants to try this out. I'm sure a lot of us are excited about this topic or this issue, particularly as Eunice said, we're in the jackpot days. Well, jackpot cannot be always bad, but please don't go anywhere. Please do stay with us. We'll be right back after this message. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Covenant Nation. Go to the playlist to see these videos. And then to also, as much as you can, follow on all social media platforms, Covenant Marriages. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Covenant Marriages.
Welcome back. We're still with the Abajues and we're having an interesting conversation. He's here, I'm there. Handling marriage despite distance. Sarma, you spoke about having 3 boys, and I mean, raising children in the diaspora definitely is different. Can you run us through how you instill values and ensure that, especially when you're together and sometimes apart, how do you discipline your children? How do you instill your values and raise them right?
Well, I'll just briefly say that children watch you, and you instill more in them by what you do than by what you say. And that is very true here, because they are literally watching you, like they're with you. They're seeing everything you're doing. So I'd say that is the best way. Show them good example. So for example, because we're very hands-on here, they become very hands-on. Because I have only boys, I don't have a girl to help me in the kitchen. So I've had to teach them to cook. They don't like it, but they can see that there's nobody to help me. So they do it, and I think it's a good value for a man to be able to cook. So they help me to cook. They help me in the preparation. That would never have happened in Lagos.
Oh, really?
But here, and then we've assigned household chores to them. Every Saturday, they clean. We shared everything. They clean. This person cleans upstairs. This person cleans downstairs. So they are good with household chores now. They're learning to cook. In fact, my second boy is trying to stay healthy. He's into bodybuilding. So He cooks his own food. His breakfast, lunch, dinner. Of course, when I cook, sometimes he eats that, but he arranges himself. They've learned to be more independent. They understand that you have to, if you want something, you have to work for it. You have to make it work for you, So they see us doing that. They see us going after the things we want. For example, my first 2 sons are now interested in business. Because they see my business growing. They see me meeting people, selling things, growing my business. So it's kind of like rubbing off on them. Of course, I tell them, look, we're Nigerians, we're not here to play grade A. We're not playing with that, So even if you want to do business, I'm not saying you shouldn't do business, but you have to go to university, you have to be top of your school. I tell them, I'm a medical doctor, never mind that I'm selling market now. I did what I had to do in school, So they see that, and more importantly, that shapes the way they behave more than what we tell them. There are some things that I tell them to do, but because I'm not doing it, I find that they don't really do that. But I see that what I do and how I live my life, they're kind of like following after that.
If you want to add to what your wife said in raising children, instilling discipline, I mean, that will be fine.
Yes. So I was going to add that one of the things that we think makes the most sense and which informs our approach is presence. All right. So it's difficult to raise somebody without being there.
True.
Your presence there. It's more than just what you say, because the signals you emit, so to speak, all right, while you are around, are the things that they know that authenticate what you're saying or the things you may have said before. So, like she said about how there's some things that she says, you just ignore her because she was doing something else. All right. But because they can tell the difference. I told somebody once that I grew up where my dad was always with my mom. All right. I didn't see them living apart. All right. I didn't see my dad upset with my mom and screaming at her and all that. I never saw any such thing. All right.
Wow.
It's not like I did not know that he was upset about something or angry, but I saw him separate the person from the issue. All right. So even when she did something he was really upset about, he would say to her, Chi, this is not how you should do this thing, or I'll talk to you about it later. All right. And that's what I saw. So growing up, all right, what am I going to do? He never told me that this is how you marry a woman. All right. I saw him marry the woman. So if you see my brothers and my sister, the model of what a home should be is what we saw. And that defines our expectation. So for me, I'm really very focused on making sure that our children see what it means. All right. What does it mean to love a woman? What does it mean to marry a woman, to live with someone else and all that? So it kind of shapes what they believe. So they're in that space. Now, if I'm away, all right, all the time, they can't see it. All right. Or they'll just hear the things they're being told theoretically. All right. So it's important for me to be present so that they can see it. So sometimes she will raise her voice or something. Do I respond by raising mine? No. Otherwise, tomorrow they'll be with someone, the person will raise their voice, then they too start having a shouting match.
True.
Right? So you can't do that because you must show them. And because they are guys, all right,
They need
then
to
it's
see.
so important that they see my response to
True.
things. So it's very important for me to be present.
Okay, thank you for all the answers and insights so far. So are there situations you believe that distance marriage cannot work or should not work? If you were to give an advice to people that are considering this.
Can I tell them the truth?
Say what you need.
I don't recommend it at all.
Wow.
I don't. It's not ideal.
But like I told him, some people have to, like we had to. It's not ideal. I think everybody knows that really at the back of their minds. But in the world that we are in, it's what is happening. So really, how is it mitigated?
So and there is where I say to people that begin by accepting the fact that this is not a standard.
Yes, exactly.
It is not a new normal. All right. It's a bandage, it's a bridge to somewhere. All right. So I would say, like we tell ourselves, for example, that we have a window, all right, with after which this closes. All right. We will not be doing this back and forth forever. We're not saying this is not our life. All right. This was for a defined purpose. All right. And if the result is that I must pack my bags permanently and leave Nigeria, then that will be an answer. If it is that, okay, we finished this time, the boys are now stable, oh yeah, pack your bag and return to Nigeria, then that is the answer. But this thing has an end game. It's not open-ended. So I will not recommend to anybody to say, oh, this is how we're going to live. But you're not married, though. All right. If you want to be married, be married.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, let's call a spade. All right. If you allow a gap to exist somewhere, even with the best of wills, air, time, and the event and the fluctuation of time will lead to spaces and openings that you don't really want. After a while, if you are used to one person being there and one person being there, then that's the only way you will know to live. You can never live together in reality. All right. But that's not a marriage. So I will be very upfront with people from the beginning. Say, no, you cannot be, oh, we feel like it. No, there must be something really, really pushing you. And that this was the only answer. That which is where we found ourselves. It is not that it was convenient for us to do that. That's one, I'll tell you. Two is understand that it's expensive.
Oh,
Understand it's expensive. So this is not a fashion item.
it's not a trend.
It's not a trend, yeah.
The reality is that all our resources are committed to. We don't do anything else. All right, money. Our first priority. In fact, this COVID helped also. That's a different story completely. All right, but before then, our first priority was tickets. We'll start the year by saying which are the trips that we know we are making. All right. And our budget first goes to that. In fact, I think it was 2019 that we had, or was it 2020 that we had bought the tickets for the whole year.
COVID now.
Just to get, yes.
Lockdown.
Just to get the savings. When you buy early, you get cheap tickets.
Okay.
Right? So we had bought all the tickets for the year, all the way through to December.
Child.
All right. Then COVID now happened. We started begging for refund everywhere.
Oh, because your funds were tied into those things.
Yeah.
Correct.
It
Yes.
was a case of any money where we get, everything na travel. So it was very important that we didn't have those long stretches where we were not together. I think that really helped. Yes. And like you said, really, you're setting a standard for your children. Don't forget they're watching. So saying that you want to live apart, they are watching, and they usually tend to model their lives in the way that their parents have modeled their lives. So you have to be very careful that you have an absolutely good reason to be apart. And like we said, like, it's not just a trend. It's not just what everybody is doing. So let's do, it's a very important decision. And like you said, expensive if you want to make sure that you maintain your relationship and your marriage.
Okay. Thank you. Ma, you mentioned earlier that you're a doctor, and now the children are seeing you selling stuff, and they have also started to sell stuff. I'm interested in how, and I'm sure many of our viewers will be interested in how you have moved from medicine. Is it that you have moved from medicine to seller or marketing, or what exactly? How have you done that in terms of your professional background?
And I would like to add, how have you transitioned this business? Did you start it in Nigeria? How did you transition into where you are now?
Yes, the business is actually 17 years old, so to speak. And yes, I started it in Nigeria. I'm a medical doctor, and I specialize in dermatology. So that's why I went into skincare. So even though it's a business, it's kind of like in line with what I studied, So I still use my position as a doctor to grow the business, you see. So that which is what I tell my children. Yes, I know I'm selling stuff, but I use my knowledge as a doctor. I use the fact because they're like, but you're selling market now. What was the point of school? You know how teenagers talk.
Yeah.
What was the point of that? I trained myself. I was able to discipline myself to do things. Being a doctor, my memory is very good. I tell them, look, I know the names and prices of all my products, So I'm able to apply that diligence and study and a fantastic memory to my business, And also because as a doctor, you're a people's person, I was also able to apply that in business, which is why I tell them, so don't forsake your foundation. But how was I able to transition it? Yeah, so it's like I mentioned earlier, it was very difficult leaving the business. The business was already like 13 years old, 15 years. So, I was really, really in it. But what I did, fortunately for me, while I was in the business, I tend to groom people in the business, right? So I had groomed people that were able to like run it while I was away. So that was my saving grace. And coming here, I didn't expect to do the business here, but I found that the demand was here as well because don't forget, a lot of Nigerians are
No.
moving here. Yes, a lot of Nigerians are moving here. So I found I was able to actually start doing something here as well. And then when COVID happened and everybody went online, even for consultations and many other things, it really helped. That way I was able to go online. I had to become more tech savvy in being able to use devices to do things, connect with people. So that really helped me.
That's interesting.
Interesting. So, so as an Igbo man and being Nigerian, engaging with family, maybe being part of family engagements. I know that because of distance, both of you might have missed some family engagements, wedding and all. Do you feel more relaxed knowing that you might not need to attend as many parties as you would usually if you're in Nigeria? Do you, do you save more on Ashwebi and the pressure of buying Ashwebi again?
We were not party people before we left Nigeria.
Oh, interesting.
So you attend what you have to.
Yes.
All right. So we're not those kind of people that every weekend you're hopping to the next party and all that. If I don't have to go, I won't go. All right. But one thing that is clear here though is that now more than ever, all right, I'm aware of the need to have a strong family system. Because contrary to what people might tell you, that here people are on their own and all of that, true, they are on their own, all right? But in reality, they are really only as good as the size of their network. So for you to function successfully overseas, you actually do need to build a network actively, all right? So the definition of your family will change, all right? I mean, for example, so we live in Montreal, in Quebec, all right? But we know many Nigerians in Toronto, all right, in Ontario. So when we go over there, all right, it's easy to have a party in quotes, all right? We can go and meet up with a lot of people and all that. Now we have here a small group of people that are Nigerians as well, that we've known or gotten to know from different places. So we'll try to actively keep in touch with them because it's actually the size of that network that really is your strength at the end of the day. I mean, we will carpool with our friend next door because our children go to the same school. All right, so he can pick them up when we're not around because sometimes we just may not be around for one reason or the other. So who are you going to call if you're all by yourself?
True.
So you need to build a network and build a family. So and relationships require oiling, so you oil them with interaction and engagement and all. And that's the practice of it. So you're never going to be away from it. But I think for us, it's a bit more pronounced here. All right. And unlike in Lagos or in Nigeria, where we could say we're not party people, we're not there. Here it's harder. You have to make sure you're engaging people.
True.
But I'll tell you one thing I do miss: praise and worship in church. You can't find it here.
You can't find it here.
They don't sing praise and worship.
It's not like
Oh, they don't have gong.
They don't have,
rhythm is not
it's
there.
not there.
Wow.
Big bedroom.
Yes. And even though we watch online, it's not the same. The sound is not the same as if you were in the hall, and I miss that.
Wow. It's a great thing that the Covenant Nation is might come to a community near you. So
Yeah. But this issue brings me to the issue of adaptation. How are you able to, I think this is the second to the last question, then we'll wrap it up. How are you able to adapt to the new environment, the things that you're missing, obviously, and all that? How easy is it to adapt? And of course, there is never snow in Nigeria, but there is more snow over there than, from what I hear, here, there's more snow over there than sunshine. So how are you able to adapt?
I mean, look, you first is in your mind, all right, and you know what you came for and why, all right. So if you spend your time complaining, then there's no progress. All right? So the weather is about what you wear.
Exactly.
So forget the fact that you're going to be wearing skinny whatever. Forget it. It's not happening.
Forget it.
All right. All this show of arms is not happening. All right.
All this show
you
of arms.
cover yourself.
You cover yourself and only your eyes. They can see only your eyes. And I remember even footwear as well. When I first came, I just buy boots, John. I didn't know there was one particular winter boot you have to wear. One time, you know, I fell.
Wow, sorry.
You know,
sorry.
you're saying, well, he fell recently too.
wow.
You know, so you see people falling, you can slip and fall. I'm like, this is risky. You can actually injure yourself. So you have to dress appropriately. You can't compromise it. And these things are expensive. Good quality winter wear is expensive, you know, so you have to invest in it, you know. So in terms of the cold, I think we've adapted. We know how to wear our thermals, you know, buy the right kind of clothes, cover your neck, wear the right hat, you know. So we've been surviving.
So I think once you can eliminate that, this society also thrives on income. All right. So that's why they've got high minimum wage and all that. But they understand that there's a minimum level of income that you need so you're not destitute.
Yeah.
All right. So it's very important that you kind of figure those things out. Once you figure them out, it's easier for you to plan. All right. And then you know what you're doing, you budget yourself, things, their prices don't change every day.
Exactly.
All right. So what you were buying in the stores last year at 129 is still 129.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's nothing like Christmas. There's nothing like, oh, it's Christmas period, prices have gone up. Nothing like that.
Interesting.
Or more.
Yeah.
What are you saying now? You want me to go?
And if you watch out, they will have promos and stuff.
Sales.
So you kind of learn to be thrifty in the real sense. All right.
In fact, every week they send you newspapers with coupons. They tell you where the deals are, you know. So you just have to be conscious. And even the schools, they don't want to see you. They're sending you emails.
The
If you
school?
miss that email, I'm sorry for you.
If your email doesn't work, you're in trouble.
You're in trouble. You must check your emails.
So all those
regularly.
spam that you're using to fill your box, you better get rid of them so you can get the real mail.
Wow.
Yeah, they can send you very important, life-changing information by email, and you'd better not miss it.
Wow.
You know.
So,
you have to be on top of
but
it.
once you figure those things out, then you begin to manage yourself. Then you find the space for the things that you want. I think the beauty of this place is that you can be better planned because there's no 3-hour traffic.
Yeah.
All right. You understand? And generally, if somebody says we're starting at 9, they'll tell you it's 9 to 11. There's no African time more. It's 9 to 11. By 11, they'll be shooing you out.
Yeah.
All right. I think one of our sons had a birthday party I was going to. We got there late. They had finished.
Wow.
So everything that starts
Yeah.
finishes. It comes to an end. All right. So everybody can plan and move on.
Plan.
But you also, a lot of the things you do are around the children. When you have young children, your life is around them a lot. So you're going for sports, you're going for this, you're going for that, this activity and all that. But they try to keep their children engaged and entertained and out of their head. So, but I think that you have to get into the system and the community to know what's happening. Don't sit in your house and be wishing you're in Nigeria. That will not help your matter at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for this insight. I'm sure it has helped some people that want to jackpot. So finally, because I haven't jackpot before. Have you jackpot before?
I'm here with you.
Sound like you're about to. It sounds
Yes,
like
No,
you're,
no, but in case you've missed anything and you think that there's something important that people should know in terms of long distance marriage and then living there and is here, I'm there, making marriage work. I mean, this is like final words, more or less.
I mean, what I would say while you're thinking, Mama, what I'd say is be honest with yourselves about what you're doing. All right. Be open and put timelines around it. Discuss the end game up front. All right. Because it's very easy for the thing to derail and become something else. But if you don't agree those things up front, later when life throws other things at you, you won't have a benchmark to say this is what we wanted, this is where we are now. So discuss it openly, agree what the issues are. If I disagree, self, on what the issues are, but it's important that you know what you're doing and why. All right, so that when things will come and change and challenge them, you have a benchmark or reference.
I don't have much else to add. It's just to reiterate the fact that communication, the quality of your communication is very important, and syncing your schedule, because most people are coming to Canada and the hours, like we're 6 hours behind Lagos. So you find that the hours don't quite match up, and it's easy to get carried away with the daily and not remember that your spouse is like 6 hours ahead of you. So you have to sync your schedule. You have to make it work. I mean, if it means you have to get up earlier than usual or sleep later than usual, then you have to make that sacrifice to be sure that you're communicating effectively and for long enough, sharing each other details in your lives consistently. And also include your children in the communication. It's very easy for the children to be here or there, and you have to consciously include them, make sure they spend time as well talking to the other person, because he also has to know what's going on in their lives, also the boring details, the little things. Oh, what happened is, I felt, one boy, everything. Let them also communicate with the person that is not there with them. If not, the person can become a stranger to them, and you don't want that to happen. And of course, they're watching you talking constantly with the person, and they are okay. The communication lines are there. And then one other thing we did was form a WhatsApp group.
WhatsApp group
Where,
with the children
yes,
or with who?
yes, with the children. Yes, with the children. All of us are on the WhatsApp group. So that way, anything happening, we put it up. He's aware of school activities. He's aware of everything going on. It's almost like it's part of the group. We share jokes there. We laugh, important information, family pictures, So we share a lot of things there. So use technology as much as you can to aid your togetherness.
Wow.
Wow, quite great conversation. Thank you so much, Sarama, for your time. This has been insightful. Thank you so much.
Almost.
Thank you, you're welcome.
And thank you
You're
to you, our
welcome.
viewers, for staying there. I'm tempted to say it's a new normal, but then this normal is not the normal thing, according to Pastor Obi. We appreciate you, our viewers. Thank you for being with us. Thank you, Pastor Obi and Dr. Mrs. Abajue. We would like to say, share this video in case you know somebody that is in a long distance marriage or relationship. Please recommend this video to them and share it on your socials. And follow us on all social media platforms at Covenant Marriages, and then subscribe to us on YouTube, Covenant Nation. But you have to go to the playlist segment to see this video. Eunice?
Thank you from me. It's been a great time being here. And like Omo has said, we've learned a lot. Thank you for now.
Thank you. I'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.